Okay, last time I started with an introduction to the story and the part to where I was in denial about everything and just not willing to come to acceptance that the worst could be happening. The thing that started making me realize what was going on and having to come to terms with, yes, there's a real problem here, is what I'm about to get into. So, basically, I'm going to start with a recap of the what I talked about before. But basically, my mom died in October of 2023. At this time, I'm thinking there's a will. My sister is the one who took over my disability. She has all the account information and has taken over the payee role. My account requires a payee. I don't have a vehicle. I'm just now getting back to where I can use an internet to at least get my story out there and try to explain all this. Yes, I've tried to report this to Social Security office, the police, a hospital, and also my mental health provider, the directions where I go, or where I was going. I've tried to find a solution to this problem, but also the attorney carousel. I've tried to call quite a few attorneys. It's hard to find somebody who will help you whenever you're poor. And then whenever you get police telling you it's civil matters, the things these people do sometimes are criminal. Like if I were to rob somebody, it would be criminal. But if a business robs somebody, but that's that's something different. We'll get into that later. But the same thing with this Social Security hustle slash disability hustle. The SSI disability hustle slash inheritance hustle thing that my sister's trying to pull. That just seems crazy to me. It's forcing me to play my own detective and find my own ways to get somebody to take the case. And it's just been an attorney carousel. They don't, eventually you start running into the same recommendations if you're even lucky enough to get a recommendation. And you're not getting, yes, we want to see, we want to see if we can help you. You're getting, no, we can't help you, but you could try this and this. Or you're getting, no, we just can't help you. And it really gets frustrating once you get to the point to where you're getting recommendations of the same places you've already called, and you wind up calling those places again, not knowing, oops. And they're like, stop calling here, we already told you, there's no other information. And it's okay, somebody recommended you. I didn't mean to call you guys again. It's that you've been recommended 3 different times, so I've called 3 different times, just dialing the numbers that I'm being given. Yeah. At that point in time, it gets frustrating for me as well, though, because it's like you're just getting turned down all these times, and you're really. It brings on despair, which isn't good, and that's something you should be putting yourself through. But at that point in time, it gets a little frustrating. It does get a little despairing. Again, my Social Security requires a payee. I don't have a vehicle of my own. I live in Pinellas County, Florida, Central Florida. My name's Jameson Adam Shank. My sister, who, again, I'm going through this whole thing with, is Carrington. And I mean, it's just been it's been a year and a half of some really crazy, almost 2 years of some just really crazy things. And um, again, in the previous video, I mentioned the power going out 3 times in a row before it was put on auto pay, and I still didn't want to believe it was intentional. After that, this is whenever the phone bill starts getting late. I got a call from Spectrum one day telling me, your account's not only overdue, but it's been adding up. And again, I call my sister immediately. She plays it off like, oh, it's no big deal. Just forgot, or I'm just not used to paying the bills yet, and we'll get it. But it's like, okay, wait, it was the power, and there was no problem with the phone bill, and now it's the phone. It's like, and they called me, thank good, like, they would have called her, would she just do that? And it's like, okay, but like, every time you're doing this to me, late fees are adding up. Like, I don't want, like, why do we want that? And also, we're at the point now to where supposedly there was a mistake on Mom's will. So I'm now, whenever the situation that changes everything happens, I'm going to be 4 months in now. Pretty much 4 months in. I mean, it might be a little less, a little longer, but from about late February, early March to the very start of July. And it was the very start of July whenever I finally said something is wrong here, because just things were that, the things that I'm gonna explain were that bad. Am I missing anything from the previous one, just to cover real quick? That's pretty much it. I mean, the notes that started it all was her mentioning something about stealing from me in the past, and that was weird. I pointed that out to her, but I also mentioned that to my counselor at Directions, like I have my payee one moment being civil, being friendly, just normal conversation. So the next moment I'm looking over at her and she's got this maniacal smile and look on her face, and she's talking about, I used to steal from you whenever we were younger. And it's just like, what are you talking about, first off? And she's like, you didn't know and wouldn't tell me. And I mean, of course I'm going to point it out to her, and I'm going to mention that to Andrew. It's like, I don't want to feel like I have to be on guard about my bills being paid. And she's talking about stealing from me in the past whenever she knows she's the one who's the payee responsible for my money. It's just that was a very uncomfortable thing to say. And that's the thing that started it all. That got me taking notes. Those were the first notes I ever took. This is getting very close to July, whenever I'm taking these notes right here. Well, actually, no. This would be into July whenever I'm taking these notes right here. This would be writing down the hospital incident after the hospital incident. All right, so that pretty much touches on most of this page. This page is basically just awareness of the situation. What I had here summed up, and Actually, I covered the electric being turned off 3 times. I covered my SSI being suspended. I covered. Well, I got a note here about the yelling and screaming, but that's. I got a note here about receipts being saved for disability purposes, which is a good thing to. Like, she has the receipts, but it's still a good thing that, like, things are documented. I like things being documented. Alright, here's a new one for you. Alright, this happened, I believe, after the hospital incident, not before. This was in July, but late July, or mid-July, late July. This is probably what prompted me to go ahead and transfer notes from whenever I was in the hospital and just get them down in this journal, which I will get to. That is the next page, is telling you the hospital incident. But this is a new one. The phone lines wound up getting flooded. There were a lot of storms in Florida in 2024, which is, this is now, Mom died in October 2023. We are now getting into July of 2024. Everything in the past video was leading up to, from February of 2024 to up to July of 2024. I tried to bring you along in the process. In this video, it's going to be from July 24th, or from, not, I don't know why I said 24th, July 2024 forward. And I'm going to try to cover a lot in this video. It might not cover it all. We might do the end events on their own, because, like, she bragged about things she had done, like, in the past, like things that I thought were not, like, were coincidence, are not, like, I knew, like, nobody has such bad luck, but you would never think your family was sabotaging your life. It's like, to accuse somebody of that, like, is just so horrible. You just don't want to. But I mean, but I'm gonna lead up and build into that. But that is what it's leading into. You don't know the events surrounding all of that, but that's what it's leading to. But we'll get to that. Again, we're gonna build up. We're gonna build. You'll understand in the end. But it's leading to something. Like, it's just, yeah. And I do. I feel like a sucker for being put through this, but I mean, you don't want to accuse somebody of being, like a criminal, a horrible person, like, whoa, like, that's horrible. You don't want to be the villain in the movie, you know? They don't care. They don't think like that. Alright, so the phone lines get flooded, and a maintenance man from Spectrum comes out. He fixes everything, and I learned that the internet, for some reason, is turned on. I don't have an internet device at the time. I'm just getting the Galaxy S22 that I'm recording on right now. I still don't have a computer. I still had the landline. Like, I don't have an internet device here until this phone arrived, and now I can try to at least get my story out there, at least expose this kind of thing for what it is. So, I mean, why is my internet turned on? Like my mom wouldn't have done that. I didn't do that. That leaves my sister playing this payee role. She's the one with access to all my accounts because she's the payee. And yeah, I mean, all of a sudden I'm learning that the internet's turned on, and we're using not only these late fees and these late bills to stack up money that, I mean, before it was I need to get the SSI turned back on, and she's just gonna have to cover it. It's her fault. Mom and her made an error on the paperwork. We just got to get up there and do it as quick as possible. But we're gonna only set a date every 2 weeks and cancel every time. It was ridiculous. Like, at first you want to believe it. After 2 months of that, like, after about 3 times of it happening, it was just like, this is beginning. Like, there's no other day. You have to set your schedule's so busy that you only have one day every 2 weeks. It's like, I need to go to the grocery store one day every 2 weeks. Mom used to take me to the grocery store once every week so I could keep up with public sales. But I'm trying to make everything work. This is a new situation. It's not the same thing. Walmart's just as good. They're cheaper. You don't get the sales, but they're cheaper. I'm trying to make things work. I'm trying to make things work. So I'm not arguing. Whenever it started getting hard is whenever after the caseworker thing happened, and the way she stretched grocery trips to where I'm buying 2 weeks worth of food and we're making me go a month without a grocery trip. That's where I'm. You're cutting into the canned goods now because there's nothing fresh left. And I'm somebody who's used to using at least cooking my fresh veggies in my toaster oven. I like to cook my potatoes in my toaster oven. I like to cook my onions in my toaster oven. I like to cook a lot of meat in my toaster oven too. And some of the veggie products I like the Morningstar products. Those things just taste good. I like things like that. So yeah. Now, this mixes in. I don't even know why this is here. This will be covered in the hospital incident. I'm skipping that one. And this is me worrying about. This is where I start worrying about it being some kind of inheritance hustle. This is to where it's like, why would somebody be so cruel as to, be attacking my disability and adding up all of this late fees and bills, turning on the internet for no reason. I mean, is she trying to add this all up that way? Like, is she feeding off of what I think she was doing? But I can't prove this. I don't know for sure. But Mom's liquid assets have never been split up. I mean, bank accounts have never been split up yet. I mean, maybe I do have to wait for all this to go through probate, but it's been over a year and a half. I mean, October would be the year mark. So the October coming up will be the 2-year mark of my mother's death. And I'm going to get to more of this in a minute, but this is where I start kind of worrying. Is it all just a hustle? Is it an attack upon my disability and my SSI to play this payee trustee role in order to just ruin everything? And I mean, it just didn't make sense why all the late bills, and now the internet's on, and now all of a sudden Actually, I think the internet and the flooded lines actually happened after the hospital incident, and that's what motivated me to write all this down. But still, without the flooded lines, still with just the from going from the late bills with the electric to the late bills with the phone, and then the way it seemed like I was getting punished for bringing up that for Andrew being so persistent with the caseworker idea. Caseworker take over, and then he has a our company covering his disability, and you wouldn't even have to worry about it, Gary. And she, yeah, she did not like that. She did not like that. She got it to where I didn't like that. It was invasive. But all right. Now, the hospital incident. There were two hospital incidents, actually. There was the first time to where I was hospitalized. It was an infection. Basically, the first time my sister brought me up there, everything went smoothly, and everything was like you need to get this whenever you get out. We haven't taken you to the grocery store in a while, so we need to get you this, that, and that. Drink lots of Gatorade, eat lots of yogurt, yada, yada, yada. We gotta get you some probiotics. We gotta get you, I'm sure you're low on certain pain medications and stuff like that. We gotta get you some ibuprofen and some just normal, what's it called? Normal aspirin. Everything seemed normal, and I'm still in the phase. This is where I went like 180. Like, I'm still in the phase to where I believe everything. Then I get out of the hospital that first time. Okay. She's been taking, I was in there, I think it was 5, if not 6 days. I think it was 5 days. Strong antibiotics. Whenever I get out of there, like, I'm feeling alright, but I'm definitely weak on my feet, feeling weak, not feeling like I want to go home and lie down. As soon as my aunt's actually the one who picked me up from the hospital. Now, I found out an interesting bit of information while I was in the hospital. The duplexes that my sister is living in, she doesn't pay my stepmother to live there. Those are hers. There was an inheritance from my father. I'm already worried that this is an inheritance hustle because of everything that's going on with her trying to add up late bills. And now I find out while I'm in the hospital from my aunt that they lied to me. Like, my mom and my sister both lied to me. There was an inheritance from my dad that my sister got. And she said something about some kind of court case. So I don't understand all that. Obviously, my sister went to court against my stepmom. Obviously, they had to work something out through some kind of probate court. Who guess what? I believe my stepmom got my father's house, because it doesn't seem like my sister got my father's house. But I know my sister actually at least got those 2 duplexes, and I don't know what else. I was left out of it. I was made to believe all this time that no, she doesn't own that. She's friends with the stepmom. She pays the stepmom rent. So, and this is like 8 years ago. Like, this is a long time ago. This is before something else bad in my life happened. A couple really bad things in a row. I'll get into that later. But now I'm finding out that I mean, it's like I was just left out. So that's got me freaked out. Um, but again, I'm still playing the don't get my sister angry. I'm going through a traumatic event in a hospital. I don't feel 100%. It's just, it was a bad time to learn that. I don't know how to process that. And I'm still trusting my sister. Like, she hasn't been, like, she's been very neglectful, but she hasn't been overly abusive as of lately. And the way she was talking, we needed to go get supplies for me, and she just was telling me things I wouldn't even have thought of. Like, oh, you need to drink plenty of Gatorade because that's just going to restore you. And we need to get your probiotics. I didn't even know what probiotics really were. I didn't know that's like, okay, that's yogurt. I didn't know, like, no, it's a thing that restores good bacteria into the gut, which helps process better digestion and just overall healthier gut. That's what probiotics supposedly are. I didn't never took that for a medical reason, so I never needed to know that. I just knew it was something in yogurt. Okay, so I get out of the hospital this first time. My aunt picks me up. Um, I just haven't processed the whole thing with the duplexes, and I'm ready to be dropped off at my sister's house. She takes me to the store. We get everything I need. I get dropped off at home. I just want to get home. I just want to go to bed. This has been an ordeal. Very heavy antibiotics. Don't feel 100%. I get to my sister's house. My aunt's there with us. Everything's going good. We're talking, and I'm looking forward to just, going home. I'm talking about the things that I need to start doing to heal. And I'm very much just want to go home to see my cats. Can't wait to get home to see my cats. Want to get home to see my cats. Like, they were the main things that, like, were on my mind. I'm this much closer to that time. I've been away from them for about 5 days. 6 days at the most, but I think it was 5 days. I want to get home to see my cats. And I'm trusting my sister to have been honest and have been stopping by and been giving them fresh food and water for these past 5 days. No, no, no. Anything but the case. So, first thing that happens is my aunt leaves. And my sister is telling me, okay, it's time to get ready and start going. And we start getting ready and start, getting ready to go. And somehow she starts yelling at me about random things like, just the most weird things. Like, I would talk about, like, how I would need to, like, it's going to be hard to take care of my cats being, with the infection and keeping it clean and taking care of them. And I'm probably not going to want to even be around them much, but I don't want to have to look after them. And oh boy, it's going to be a pain in the butt whenever they're waking me up in the middle of the night for food. That just happens every once in a while. They're allowed. I don't do it every night. Kidding sometimes, she needs me. She is desperate. Guarantee you she ain't waking them up for food. They're nice people though, but I'm pretty sure I know where she'd go. I'm not 100% sure actually where she's going, but I'm pretty sure I know. I'm pretty sure. I have an idea which family it is. And it's a family. Like, trust me, they're not letting you wake. They're not letting that kid wake their kids up at 4 a.m. She comes here and does that. But if I don't feed her enough and they're not feeding her enough that specific day, or if I miss the feeding, she does it. She just does. But I'm talking about things like that, and I'm getting screamed at because she has kid and she has to deal with, and she's screaming at me like I'm not allowed to talk about things that I'm worried about while going through this ordeal, screaming at me because, and she's doing this right in front of her kid, because in the car as she's driving me home, and she's not going to the store anymore. Eventually she starts screaming about that, like, I just don't have time for any of this. Taking you straight home, dropping you off. It's like, I haven't been to a grocery store in near a month. You're telling me I need all these Gatorades and these probiotics, and I need to drink lots of Gatorade and keep myself happy, healthy, and now you want to send me home in a stressful situation, yelling and screaming the whole time she is. And I'm just like, you're supposed to be the trustee to my account. You're supposed to be the payee. Haven't been to the grocery store in a month. You still don't have the SSI reactivated. It's been 4 months. Still don't have food stamps turned on. You've had, Mom was able to do that. And I don't think I necessarily lost food stamps in October, but whenever I did, like from that point on, it was treated just like the getting up to that Social Security office and turning the SSI back on. Constantly set a date to do it, but never actually go through with it. There's always an excuse. But actually, with the food stamp office, it was usually that one. It was usually, I just don't know when. So it wasn't even set a date. It was, oh, I just don't want to deal with it right now. Whenever that was brought up. But she would even bring it up and mention it and just be like, oh, but we need to do this for you, but I don't want to deal with it right now. Not yelling and screaming, but it's just kind of like, okay, this is oxymoronic. You brought it up. Like, this is something I do want to do and would be glad to do right now. I'd be glad to do it tomorrow. I'd be glad to do it the next day. Like, this would benefit me greatly. Any day. It doesn't need to be 2 weeks out just for you to cancel again. And again, I did have to cancel one time too because of a tooth that went bad. And with that one, I really thought I was gonna have to go to a dentist, but I toughed it out. And me toughing it out, a lot of that has to do with me not wanting to go to a dentist. I need to grab a drink real quick. Please excuse me for 1 moment. I will be right back. Also, I said I wasn't going to make this video a longer one and talking again, but it makes it to where you're aware. So, alright, finally we pull up to my house. She's not taking me to a store to get any supplies. I'm out of everything. Like, I'm on pretty much probably I think I might have had 1 or 2 or 3, 4 like small Gatorades in the house, like like that's gonna last me a day unless I ration it. You're telling me I need to drink a lot of Gatorade. I think I've got like 4 little small ones in the house. It's I've got a couple of sodas. Sodas weren't tasting too good because of the antibiotics, to be honest with you, though. The one thing that was tasting good was specifically Schweppes ginger ale, because that's what they had at the hospital, and that's what I was drinking. That ginger ale was awesome because I had developed a taste for it that wasn't interfering with the antibiotics. I couldn't eat eggs, I couldn't eat potatoes, I couldn't eat, like, I was stuck on, like, rye bread and bacon for breakfast. No eggs. Again, couldn't eat eggs. They tasted, it was weird. But it was the antibiotics. Some flavors mixed with the antibiotics, and it makes the flavor of the food taste bad. Other flavors, like salt, the bacon with the salt in it, it just doesn't. So the food doesn't taste weird. And I don't know why Gatorade tasted great and soda tasted horrible. I don't know. And it's probably the soda that I was drinking that tasted like I could have probably picked something different and it not have tasted bad. It's just, you don't know what they're gonna interfere with. So, yeah, I get home, I've got nothing in the fridge. I'm surviving off of canned food already. And I walk up and I'm looking for my cats and I'm trying to see, how they were fed and everything, just check and make sure everything's okay. And I walk up to the door of my trailer and peek at where the food's supposed to be and get this whiff that comes up, and it's like, oh my God. Like, it smells like a dead body is under my trailer. Like, I've made the mistake of leaving, like, a tray of wet food or a tray of tuna out for them, especially before Frank and the kitten started coming in. Like, the kitten was easy. Frank wasn't. Frank was not easy. Frank was a feral, little, skittish, like, I want food, but I don't need a human cat. Now it's like we're all just a team. Like, it's just like I'm accepted. Like, I can even pet him. Like, he's friendly. He's a kitty that lets me pet his belly, even though he's the most skittish thing in the world. Cats don't let you pet their bellies. He loves it. So in one area, he'll let me pet, same as behind the ears. But whenever he's done, he jumps up, he runs away all of a sudden. It's the funniest thing. But I've left a tray out there before for a couple of days for them to where, like, food spoils, and it's like, wow, that's horrible. Like, that needs wrapped in, like, 3 different bags and thrown in a trash can, and, like, please let trash day be tomorrow, because that's just horrible. That needs to be gone. Like, that should almost be buried. It's so bad. This was like, I left 5 days ago. I come back 5 days later. Those trays have not been cleaned. Like, she has most likely been dumping the old food or the new food on top of just dirty, unclean trays. Probably dumping the new food on top of the old food and just being like, eh. And I mean, like, it has animals. It should know better than that. I mean, that is just not like not like, that's the thing that pretty much ain't give me the worst. You can yell and scream at me all you want. There's something wrong there. And I was like, by the time I got home and like was going through all this, like, I was in a state of like, just like shock. Like, I'm already on a heavy antibiotic. I've been screamed at the whole way home. The whole like 10-15 minute drive. I've learned that I'm not getting any supplies. I'm gonna have to live off of nothing for a little bit longer. I don't feel good in the first place, and now I'm all jittery, shaky because I'm going through a situation to where somebody's just laying in on me right in front of her kid. Her kid's in the back seat. It's just like, what am I witnessing here? Because this is disgusting. And then what's up with these plates, Carrie? Oh, well, I don't have time. Clean them. It's like, I've got an infection on my hand from, I'm an idiot, okay? Like, I know Frank gets infections too. I don't do this anymore, but I probably should have realized I shouldn't have been feeding the the Frankster catnip out of my hand while rubbing and playing on with, getting them socialized, getting them to come in this house and eat. I was sick of another cat showing up and trying to snipe the food, and what would happen is it would wind up chasing both of the cats I'm friends with off, to where it would pretty much stalk my driveway and drive off other cats. And I want my cats. I want the two that I'm attached. I know they're not my cats, but the two that I'm attached to, I want to maintain my friendship with them. I don't want a punk cat coming around that isn't loving and caring. Like, even Frank, to a degree, is loving and caring, more so towards the kitten than me, but we all have our unique relationship. Like, we're our nice little trifecta. It makes me feel like I have a family. I don't mind being cats. The greatest family I ever had was my bear, my kabuka critter, my love of my life, the one with 10 names. So yeah, I like having them around. I like the trade-off, and my kitten's the sweetest thing in the world, and I love how Frank is with the kitten, even though they are it's not 100% behavior, but I mean, it's the animal world. For the most part, he really guards not only her, but pretty much all the other kittens. He tries to play alpha. He guards all the other kittens around here. He's good with the one that, even the one that tries to chase her off, he's good with that one. He's too big to be chased off. See, we're chasing her off, and what's the problem? But I don't like the fighting. Like, whenever other cats stray into the area that aren't supposed to be here and he gets into fights, I don't like that. But the way he protects the cats that belong around here, I do, like, really, really like, appreciate, respect, all those things. He's my cool little guy. He's a really cool little guy. He's special. She's my number one, but he's special too. So yeah, I wound up trying to salvage these trays because I just don't. I'm poor. Everything matters to me. I think I wound up salvaging. It wasn't my best one that I was able to salvage, I don't think, but I think I was able to salvage my second best one, and it was only 3 trays. Why we did 3 trays worth of wet food, I don't know. I think one of them was tuna, one of them was wet food. I think she was supposed to be switching them out, but she just, all 3 trays, and so that means she obviously did show up that second day, but instead of cleaning everything and changing everything out and switching out the trays, she filled that 3rd tray up, put all 3 trays out, and was just like, you know what, we'll just add to it next time. And never washed a single one. I mean, all 3 of them smelled like death. It smelled like in my house. I mean, I feel sick. I've been through a hospital situation. It smells like death in my house. Like, I walk into my trailer I call it my house. It's where I live. It's my trailer though. It's a mobile home. But I walk into my trailer, and I mean it just reeks of death because that's where the cat food sat. Is unfortunately right kind of under my bedroom, like right in a crevice under the, the little crevice under the trailer, one that I can get through. One where there aren't so many bricks to where I can lift my hand over and put it down there. That's where I was leaving it. So all that smell, all three of them too, is just leaking up right pretty much into the room that I'm used to sleeping in. Fortunately, I do sleep on this couch too. It is a if you know how to sleep on this couch, it's a comfortable couch. You sleep on it wrong to where you push your back up against that side. It's not, but you sleep on it flat, you're good. And it's actually a very comfortable couch. There's just a board right here, so you don't want to you don't fall asleep against that. That's where you gotta have the pillows lined up. So no supplies, yelling and screaming the whole way home. The way she's acting in front of her kid, like the kid's in the car, like what are you doing? Like, I'm not the one raising my voice. I'm not talking about anything bad. I mean, these are the same things. I'm talking about my cats. These are the same things I was discussing with Aunt Becky. I mean, what I am worried about is getting home and seeing my cats. I'm worried about 4 a.m. whenever they wake me up. I'm worried that I'm not going to give them enough attention because I'm going to be in a healing process. Or that I'm not going to want to wake up at night and go tend to them real quick because I'm going to be in a healing process. I'm not going to be thinking to myself, yay, go take care of Kitty. No, I never am when they wake me up. Trust me, that's not fun. It's just something I get used to. Like, I go do that. It doesn't happen all the time. Whenever I miss a meal or whenever she just needs extra food. And sometimes he copies her. He's not bad, though. She's the one who does it. He kind of knows better. It's not the same for him. He gets fed well. He eats the same as she does, if not more, because he's a bigger cat. But, she's my favorite little thing in the world. She knows she can get away with anything with me. And sometimes she tries. Actually, if she had her way with the way I chased off that other cat that was trying to punk them out, after that she got it in her head that maybe I could do the same thing with Frank, and she tried. I could tell you a story about that, but it just involves her trying and me finally, with the second time, catching on that it's not him that's the problem, it was her that's the problem. And she was trying to get me to do that. She was trying to get me to chase him off. That's just, I caught on and I stopped playing into it to where it was just like, you two have to work this out. Alright, also, alright, the next note on here is about, the amount of time it took before supplies actually were delivered. And, like, I was calling her every day, like, Carrie, you know I'm going through this, you know I need to get to the store and get supplies. Like, I'm sick every day. I have nothing for nausea. They were giving me things to combat the antibiotics in the hospital. You can use Pepsid. All I needed was a little money to go buy Pepsid. All I needed was, or if that didn't work, just get me up to a CVS, let me buy a couple of stomach relief options. Pepsid would be one. Mylanta or something like that would be another. You can even use, I think even Pepto-Bismol's got a few different things, but you don't want to take Pepto-Bismol or any antibiotics are going to clog you up. So it's better to take things that aren't going to stop your flow. It's better to take things that are like Pepsid is an like even Pepsid's like a more medical form of Tums, basically. I don't want to say that though. Probably like I'm not a doctor. I don't understand medicine like a doctor would, but I know it has antacid qualities to it. I know that much. Um, but like a Tums isn't going to stop you up. It's an antacid. It's not supposed to be, as long as you don't like do something crazy and swallow like 20 of them. Like taking a Tums isn't going to clog your system. Um, And same with Pepsid. Antacid type medicine. I don't see that as being something that's going to clog your system. So, it's a matter of trying different things and trying to figure out what works. But I mean, 3 days passed. She still hadn't got me to the store. Finally, her boyfriend's the one who wound up stopping by with like a little bit of Gatorade and a few things like that. She sent him. And that was like 3.5 days in. And finally, on the fourth day, I just wasn't holding out. Like, I needed to report this situation as abuse to somebody. And whenever I was in the hospital, I wasn't at home puking every day. Like, I got home, put through that situation to where I was just shaking that car ride home, to where I went from like I just need to lie down to where now I'm shaking. I have to deal with all the worry, and I mean, I think I sent myself into a state of a nervous breakdown on top of all that heavy antibiotic and still having to take oral antibiotics. And it just sent me into a state of shock, which just threw my body into chaos. And I mean, it was like the swelling started back up in the infected area. I was puking every day. I mean, I didn't know when it was going to happen. I would wake up in the morning and I would be like, please, like, don't let this be the morning to where the antibiotics make me feel like my kidneys are shutting down and my liver's shutting down. Please let this be the day to where like I get used to these. And I've already got myself on half dose. Like I'm trying to like cut back on one of them. I couldn't break actually, but that one I think I was supposed to take two of. Instead I was just taking one at a time. The other one I was only supposed to take one of, but it was breakable, so I was just taking half at a time. I mean, I was not playing around. I did not like, I was probably puking out most of that antibiotic anyway whenever it was making me sick. So at least once I started cutting it down, I was able to hold it in. And then once I started getting used to it, I figured I was probably getting used to holding it in, and then I would up it. I didn't get to that point. I got to the point where it was like, just put me back in the hospital. Like, it's just, there's nothing I can do. Like, it's getting worse, not better. And I went back to the hospital. This time I was singing a different tune. I wasn't singing, oh, that's my sister, she's wonderful. I was singing, like, I think I'm in a really bad situation. I think I've been living in denial about her basically putting me through an SSI abuse scandal in order to scam me, I don't know. I mean, ruin my SSI and try to put me through another inheritance scandal. Because I mean, why did nobody tell me? Like, my aunt's old. She's not the most with it person. Like, I'm not surprised. I would not be surprised if that was a slip up on her part. And once she started talking about it, I kept pressing. And she was up in the hospital visiting her nephew. That was the role she was playing at the time. I'm really glad she committed and at least told me. I mean, it's just better to, like, it's devastating to know, but it's better to know than to just go through the rest of my life feeling like everything's my fault and I'm just like, everything really just is this, has been this bad for me. I've just been this unlucky and, oh, the family's perfect. Well, I mean, I'm never going to claim it. I never did claim it perfect. I've always, I mean, I was homeless at 16 because it was not a good situation to be in that household. Um, and then there's some other situations I'm going to get into that are just ridiculous. But, I mean, I always knew my family was a little abusive and a little neglectful, and, put themselves first and really, have trouble carrying past themselves a lot of them. My sister went through the same abusive situation as I did. Like, I've seen some bad things happen to her, too. So, I mean, of course, I was giving her the benefit of the doubt to be, more like me. Like, we went through that crap together and we rose above, and, it's sad that mom's dead because we're attached to mom, but at the same time, we know to be better than that because that was not a, being a parent that is not supportive, but rather just, oh, I love doing things with you and being your friend, but whenever it comes to pushing you in the right direction or doing anything to support you, or she'd rather be in the garage drinking alcohol and smoking cigarettes. It's not her thing to, and unless it's something that's being used for her joy and advantage, unless she's in a situation to where it's like, oh, my sister's going to visit and I want to impress my sister. Then of course she's going to try to pretend to be the perfect mom, but it's not. That's not the norm. But I mean, at the same time, I used to go over to my mom's house on the weekends. I mean, practically up until she died. Watching the Bucks and the Dolphins games. I mean, mom loved football. Mom knew her football too. That's something she had always done. Like, she used to watch the games, like, with her ex-husband. Like, they were cheering for the Bucks way before the Bucks won their first Super Bowl. So that's something I would do. I kind of got myself a little back into things, going over and watching them games and then working out of my journals over there. I tried to get myself going again from a past incident, doing that, and did. But yeah, like like, mom's easy to be friends with, just don't expect support. Um, okay, so with the hospital incident, basically I check myself back in. I try to start, um, letting people know what they wound up eventually doing. And I got her name up here, actually. I got notes on the other page. But what they wound up doing is eventually sending in some kind of, I've got it written down as caseworker slash counselor. It's not a caseworker. It's a counselor that the hospital has, who kind of talked to me and, was willing to kind of be a mediator between me and my sister to figure out how to move forward without my sister being the payee. Like, it was to the point where it was like, that's somebody who's not going to change. You get that that person is intentionally trying to hurt you. Like, you do need to get that person out of your life. Um, and also, she suggested that. But yeah, I told anybody on that staff what was going on with me. I tried to report it to everybody. I tried to be rememberable. But she also told me that with directions, with the mental health facility I've been going to ever since Bear died. She also told me, like, I should deny my release of information. I should deny that for my sister. But I mean, it doesn't matter if she sees my information with directions or not. What matters is what happens with my social security. Like, directions was there were some issues with directions to where I was already beginning not to, like, put too much faith in them. Which I would again, and I would be, that would turn out to be a mistake too. But yeah, I wound up putting, like, everything would heal, of course, everything would be good. But that's whenever I first started really trying to report that. And those are my notes from the hospital incident of kind of what I was put through. And just, and then of course, explaining everything that I've explained in the beginning of this video / all throughout the last video. I just tried to let somebody know, which happened to be the best person that I talked to with this caseworker, again named Jennifer. And I mean, the main thing I talked to her about was, again, just helping me mediate everything to my sister. Even if I can't report everything to Social Security right now, you can't help me with that. Just mediate everything with my sister to where I am beginning a breakaway from her. That would be done by December. It would take from July to December. But that's when this began. This was the realization phase. This is where we went from, we're not accepting this, we're in denial, to, I realize this is, like, I wouldn't have put anybody through that. So I wouldn't have put a cat through having to eat off a 5-day old plate that smells like death. So I wouldn't have acted out like a maniac in front of my kid while using my kid as a shield because you're worried about your cats? Huh? I'm worried about me. The reverse, meaning I'm worried about my cats, but, like, I'm not talking about what you're going through. I'm not talking, meaning what she's going through. I'm not talking about her kid. I'm talking about my worries of getting home and being with the cats, and the kind of things that worry me the most, like what I know I'm gonna be faced with. That's normal and ordinary, but all of a sudden, you're in a situation to where you're on strong antibiotics and going through a healing process, and it's not going to be so fun. And I'm making light of it, and all of a sudden you're yelling at me and screaming at me and using, "Oh, I have sick kid" as excuse. This has nothing to do with your sick kid. Why would this be a trigger for you? Like, what is going on here? I think she was so threatened that first time I was in the hospital that I said something. I think I'm I don't leave my house a lot. I don't have internet. I don't have a vehicle. Ever since Bear died, and the tragic way, like the tragic way things happened surrounding that, I've kind of been a very anti leave house, anti people. Like, I don't want to put myself in bad situations. If the government is going to, if our way is to say everything's a civil matter, whenever it comes to, like, no, this is a horrible situation. This is like, this is kind of criminal what these people are doing. It's disgusting, to say the least. I don't want to get caught up in situations like that, because there's nothing you can do if you accidentally leave house and run into wrong person. Or, and actually I went through two situations in a row, and this is why I bring this up. Leave, try to improve your life and run into wrong business, and business rob you. Like, that's not messages you want to send people. Like, hurt something you consider your family and responsibility, not message I want to receive. Ruin something that you put, like, life work into, like, means everything to you. And instead of it being an opportunity, it turns into being scam. You get scammed, nobody cares, there's nowhere to turn to, civil matter. Again, I robbed somebody, that's criminal. Business robbed me, it's not criminal? No, it is. It's messed up how it's handled in this world. It's messed up. And I'm sorry, I'm nobody, so I can't change things. Like, I'm one person. I'm not an attorney, not a police officer, not a judge. I'm none of these things. I don't have the right to be these things. I'm one person. So, I mean, unless it's, because it's the same way for everybody, I'm assuming, unless it's made to where, I mean, we're doing more to protect people against criminals. There's nothing I can do. All I can do is tell my story. That's all I can do. So I go into that hospital the second time, and I am telling anybody I can, Jennifer was the best person to talk to. And I'm getting put on the path to, talk to directions, let them know everything that's going on, so you're at least documenting things there, keep the notebook going. This is whenever I started it. But I had notes. I had all kinds of notes that I had taken, but we organized it into a book. I even have other notes. This and one other thing that's in here are the same thing as the start of all this. Like these first 4 pages, 2 different ones there too. I transferred everything into here. And she also told me to start looking into, well, at the time it was directions take over as caseworker, take over the Social Security. Andrew had told me about the caseworker thing, so, well, the caseworker directions can take over the Social Security. I'll go for that now. I'll call them and I'll go for that. And if not, she was talking about, financial services. There's always something you can do. Caseworkers at directions do not handle your Social Security accounts. That's not correct. That's just bad information. They don't do that. That's not what they do. They're not allowed to do that. They can't do that. Andrew's wrong. And the whole time he was pushing Social Security. A caseworker from directions take over Social Security. They can't do that. Can't even do that. That's what made me feel like I was going through all that punishment from my sister. turns out they can't even do that. And that's whenever I learned that they can't even do that. But I did wind up calling directions. I did wind up not actually requesting a caseworker, but just trying to, I was still going to directions to see a Dr. Brandon to get my Prozac. So I was still just trying to keep people in directions at in the loop. And then the 2 storms hit. Now I'll get to that in a moment. But that's whenever directions caseworker would come into the picture. So I wouldn't really request a caseworker. I would request help with a very bad situation that I was going through with my sister, to where she was very much illegally sabotaging my SSI disability. And we were at that point in time in the process of trying to reactivate the SSI disability through Sunshine, but it took time to get it reactivated. It took actually until, I think it was early October, to get this reactivated. And it took until, to be precise, December 23rd for her to actually transfer all the information from Sunshine over to me. As I said in the last video, one of the things that worried me about a financial service handling my disability was that I wouldn't know how to handle, or I wouldn't know how to use the financial service, that it would be like giving a caveman a computer. Like, okay, yes, I see it, it's cool, it's a computer, that doesn't mean I know how to use it. And okay, maybe it wouldn't be as hard as learning a computer, or as difficult, yeah, I said that right, as difficult as learning a computer for the first time. I mean, especially an adult who's never seen a computer as a kid learning a computer for the first time. Kids learn faster, kids process better than adults. But I just needed to be shown how to use it. Once you show me how to do something, I catch on slow. But once I learn it, I know it. And if it's, especially if it deals with routine, if I can do something every time and have success, I can do it. I can learn how to routine it. And that's a good thing. Routine is good. Routine is comfort. Routine is, you get your schedule down, you get your routine down, and there's comfort to routine. There's comfort to being able to, I've got this, I've done this before, I can do this every time. And that's what we're leading to, is what happened on the 23rd. That's what we're just changing everything. But okay, we've got the hospital incident out of the way. Next thing would become food stamps. She would try to set me up with food stamps, but for some reason there was a final process with the food stamps that she was just never able to complete. Also, let's say July was whenever I found out about the flooding in the lines, the end of July, and that the computer was turned on for some crazy reason. Early July, between July 1st and let's say July 10th, I was in the hospital. Off and on, 5 days on, 5 days on, like 4 days off, and then like another 4 days on. So that's actually 11 days. So let's say between July 1st and July 11th, I believe that was it. I believe July 1st is the day that I went in. It just happened to be on the 1st of the month. It was really close. I remember 4th of July I was in there. I remember that much. So I'm trying to work our way up to whenever I get the pay company, we need to move along from the hospital incident to more mishandling of the disability. And also I need to mention, this is also where she introduced me to the attorney. I'm pretty sure this is the same attorney that handled the case for her whenever she went through it with my stepmom and I was left out. I don't think he knew about me, but I think the worker at the hospital scared her, because that's whenever she immediately, like my sister immediately got on the ball with, I'm gonna get him the disability set back up through a payee service, through a financial service, and I'm gonna get an attorney to tell him that he's gonna get an inheritance and that everything's okay. And that's when she actually brought me to her attorney. Please wait one moment again. This is it. I'm gonna try to keep things. I know we're like, for the video. Right now, just because I know you want to be fair. You just want to be fair. John Freeborn is the name of the attorney she is using for this probate. And again, everything's supposed to split between us. I am very worried about where, like, okay, mom's possessions, mom's accounts, mom's car. Like, why isn't everything being split? Why isn't just things like stocks and bonds and stuff like that? And again, what all did she inherit from my dad? Why was I left out of that? And where did this will go? All of a sudden, she's telling me, like, pretty much on the way to the attorney, she's telling me, oh, by the way, we both agree there's no will, right? It's like, no. It's like, since when has there not been a will? Like, I've never heard anything about no will. So I don't know what that's about, but now all of a sudden there's not a will either. And I walk into that attorney's office and very calmly, I do wind up bringing up the incident with my father and how I know my sister inherited at least those 2 duplexes, and that I just don't understand how I was never even informed, like, that was a thing. Like, my mom never told me that there was an inheritance. They made me believe. My sister wasn't happy about that, to say the least, but I mean, you can't act out and start yelling and screaming in an attorney's office. I'm not doing that. I'm just explaining, like, this is the situation. I don't understand it. I want to understand it more. And I don't want anything like that happening with my mom. With between me and my mom. I mean, I could have been in a better situation if I would have gotten half the duplex, and then what else was there on top of that? But I don't get it. I don't get it. This is all things that I've just learned this last month. So, well, 2 months and a half, not even 2 months. So I just don't understand. But I just want to be treated fair with everything that's going on with my mom's insurance. And I mean, I've got every right to be worried about that. And I'll get into more about Mr. Freeborn in a little bit. I mean, I don't know what to make of things. I've been treated badly throughout life. Things in life are just not what they seem for me anymore. I thought things were one way. And then, not even, about 8 or 9 years ago, things really changed for me, because it's just things you get put through in life that are just, and then I learned this about my, I'm beginning to learn all this about my family now. And I mean, how bad can it really be? Like, why, like, my mom's the one who set me up with the disability. Why would she not want me to inherit from my father? Like, why would she not? If there was an inheritance to be had, why? Like, they came to me, they gave me 2 guitars, the 2 oldest, like, not even all my dad's music equipment, the 2 guitars we grew up with, those were given to me. And my mom and sister said there was nothing else. Like, she got it all, meaning his latest wife. She got the house, she got the duplex, she got everything. Carrie pays her to live in the duplexes now, because that's where Carrie lives, is in the duplexes. That's where Carrie lived whenever my dad died. That's where she's just gonna pay the stepmom rent now. Okay. No, she inherited those. Who knows what else? But I do know from my aunt now that it's just not, there's 2 kids. That's not right. And to not mention that to me, to just leave me out, that is like, why would my mom and sister do that to me? I don't see why that wouldn't be like, hey Jamie, we want to see you succeed in life, so this should help. I don't understand. I don't understand. All right, so we move on. And now I'm just going to put it all together one more time, and then I'm probably going to take a break. We'll move on to a final video to describe, to get to the 23rd. 23rd, whenever everything really takes a twist. Alright, sister takes over account, mother dies October 2023. Sister's been, in charge of my account. You know about all the canceling of dates, you know about all the late bills. This continued to happen late with the phone bill right up till the company took over. Even whenever the company took over, there were 2 late bills whenever that company took over, both of course for the phone bill, the Spectrum bill. Not just phone, actually it was phone and television at the time. No internet anymore, that had been taken care of, but phone and cable at the time. Because that's what I had whenever my mom was alive. I was still doing everything I was doing when my mom was alive, because my sister, instead of helping me, wasn't directing me in the right direction. Instead was sabotaging me. So instead of trying to get into a financial plan, I'm just kind of stuck. No vehicle, no internet, no way to do anything. Just keep it normal with the best I can. I don't know. It wasn't easy to get through that. It wasn't easy to get through that. Again, the company took over. I believe, unless she's deceiving me about this too, but it reactivated, I believe, early October. But I was not actually given, like, not even the phone number to call this place until the 23rd. What I'm going to get to with the next video, just a quick overview of everything from this video and the last video. We will try to make this last one shorter. But with this last video, I'm just going to try to get straight to the 23rd. And then start talking about directions and some other things that have happened that I'm not going into in full yet, but we'll get into, because it has to deal with after the 23rd, and then putting it all together with what happened, like what I knew before then versus what I knew when things actually happen, and I know them, which is after the 23rd. I need to do the 23rd first to keep this in order. I keep on saying a few things kind of out of order, but I'm trying not to tell any of those actual stories. Like, this deals with family sabotage, but I haven't mentioned. Well, we're getting into the inheritance hustles, but I'm not going into more of that. But again, I didn't know about them in the last video. I didn't mention them in the last video. I know about them now. I'm very much suspecting it, and that is where this is going. She'll gloat about some things. She'll say it herself. I really do. I think I want to go ahead and just heart's not pounding as much, but it's hot in here. I'm really sweaty right now. I just want to go stand in front of my AC for a while. Turn that baby on and just go stand in front of it for a while. Hydrate a little bit. And whenever I get back, we will wind up doing the basically the last time I ever talked to my sister, the conclusion of all this, her big setup 2 days before Christmas. I swear she could have done it on Christmas, she would have. But I'm sure they were closed on Christmas, and I'm sure they were closed on Christmas Eve, so she probably called and checked and made sure they were open the day before Christmas and chose that day to do this. And we will get into this in the next video. Again, I'm just going to go try to take a little break, rehydrate, and again, we've done to the part of this story to where, look, I am more naive than a lot of people out there. I probably should have tried to protect myself sooner. It took me 4 months from the time that Social Security was canceled, and it took me 5 months from the time that I first started feeling the need to take notes. That first note 2 weeks before the Super Bowl. So it's given. I should have probably. Andrew took things. He did. He took things serious whenever I talked about payee gloating about, I used to steal from you. Like, he found that a little bit of just like, why would she do that? Why would she bring that up out of nowhere just to trigger you? Whenever she is, like, she's got to know that she's the person. It would make me feel uncomfortable as the person responsible for my money and my bills, and those getting paid. Like, if they don't get paid, your power goes out, you lose food, and now you're, not only are you, like, you're not getting that money back. Like, now you've wasted money, you've been put in bad situations to where you're just, it's not fun having the power go out. Trust me, if I could, I'd run that AC 24/7. I just can't afford it. I'm not doing that. I'd rather not be sweating right now. Also, I have to turn that AC off to record these videos. I should talk louder in these things. I'm telling you, these are tough to get through. They are not having fun here. Not having fun here. But I mean, you gotta make do with what you got. So, of course, I'd like to run the AC all day. But gotta keep it off for the videos. Gotta keep it off to save money. Everybody's gotta, we all gotta do our part to, live by our means. But don't like it whenever my means are sabotaged, and I don't like it whenever that sabotagery is allowed. But that's some of the things that we need to get into in the final part of this video, to where a lot of the things, and I'll go over these too, like, we will get to a lot of different things in this next video too. Hopefully this next video will be shorter, but we'll cover more. Alright, thank you again for going through this story with me and taking it one step at a time to where it's the journey. Again, the first part is the part where I was just in denial. This is the part where you're kind of coming into the realization, the fear, the acceptance that things are bad, and the fear, like how bad are they? Next part, we're going to get into as much as I know about how bad they really are, and it's due to her gloating about it. I mean, this is how I know things. But the inheritance hustles, I mean, I'm going through it right now with my mom's and my dad's. I mean, both of them didn't even tell me. Like, that's not right. But, all right, next video. I really appreciate it. Thank you, and I will be back for the next one in a minute. All right, thank you again. Bye-bye.